we'll get into this more specifically as I feel more comfortable talking more about it. In our first broadcast, I talk about it. I go into some specific details about it. And I took part in a ceremony that basically took everything I have experienced my entire life, everything I've been wondering about, everything I've been asking, everything I've experienced, and it put it all into perspective for me. It was the period at the end of the sentence, the answer to the questions, the connection I have been waiting for. And since then, re-engaging again in social media and things like that, I started to fall back and let myself in little moments fall back into that aspect of ego. And when I say ego, I mean the part of us that gets damaged by what others do or say, when others share what they're perceiving and thinking and stuff like that. And rather than maybe just sit back and listen unobjectively, non-judgmental and stuff like that, I take these things into consideration. I listen to them sometimes. And then I do, admittedly, sometimes, I don't know if take offense to them is the right word, but they make me second guess myself in some respects. Should I have done that? Should I have said that? Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? What I have gone through in my physical life here, what I have experienced at the hand of human, spiritually, within, friends, everything, what I have experienced all up until that point, as I mentioned, for me to stop and second guess myself again, to question my truth, what I know, what I'm experiencing, my path, the book I've written, everything. It makes, to question that after all I've experienced is energetically insulting. And it's not only insulting to me, the ego, the person that went through all this and is trying to shed those layers and talk to you, but it is truly insulting in some respects to the energy that I am, to my true consciousness, to my true awareness. I don't express the insight, the knowledge, and the wisdom to get people to like me, to stroke my ego, to gain money or something like that. I do it because it is my soul's purpose. And I have finally, at 50 years of age, reached that point. I've gone through the trials. I've jumped through the hoops and gone through the ring of fire. I've paid my dues. And I received, and I receive what I've been dreaming of and hoping for my entire life. And last night I was meditating and I was thinking about this and connecting with this and discussing this, and it came to a point of the end of my second guessing myself. I won't second guess myself anymore, and I won't let the perspective, projections of others, the thoughts, the theories, the ideas make me second guess myself. I'll listen to them. I will express my insight on it, and that'll be that for me. I don't feel a need to have to justify anything anymore. I've spent a life of justifying, And I don't have to defend my beliefs anymore, because what I see, what I perceive, what I receive is absolute truth, and it makes no difference to me whether somebody believes it or not. It really doesn't anymore. With the diversity in spirituality, with the diversity in humanity, it makes no difference to me anymore. Some will listen, some won't, some will ascend, some won't. But tonight, I asked last night, please, let's express something. Let's express something that will truly help people understand and maybe, again, shift their perspective just a little bit more to the new frequencies that are coming. The new signs, those new signals, all these numbers. Transcendental evolution. Transcendental simply means spirit or non-physical form. That's all it means. Transcendental. Spirit or non-physical form. And evolution, we know, is the supposed, alleged advancement of intelligence within our species, which scientifically now we can go back on Darwin's theories that even he himself, when he wrote it, knew they would change, knew some were wrong, and they are. With the exception in the history of evolution, there's this, that missing link. There's a point where we jumped type of species, but since then we haven't advanced or evolved at all. So, transcendental, spirit or non-physical form, and evolution, the advancement of intelligence. I won't say for the humankind, because that's where we made the mistake. Let's forget our place in the universe for now, and let's look at our place here. When we look back at our known history, when we go back to primitive man, making fire for the first time, carving spears, right? They survived and thrived and moved forward on what they created, and what they created enabled the next generation to accept and embrace that, and again, take those concepts and advance on it and go forth, right? We came all the way up through this and that and the other thing into the Industrial Revolution. We had the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution turned out over into, let's call it Society Phase 1. After the wars, after the smoke, after primitive man, after all the clanging in the machine and the bombs dropping, when we got into that 40s and 50s era, the whole 50s, the whole Brady Bunch era, right? Society Phase 1, that numb, brainwashed, my parents and grandparents, that society just accepted how things are, this is the way it is, and they took us, our children, and passed it on. But again, they maneuvered and embraced society by what they had, by what was created from the generation before them, that was created off of the creations of the generations before them. And here we are today. We went through, from the 50s, we went through the 60s and the 70s. We went through this advancement with technology through the 70s and 80s and into the 90s. And here we are, 2018. Great technology, advancing well, right? Again, the technology is advancing. We know, admittedly, the aircraft companies and the electronic companies, Sony and all these companies, we know they have admitted publicly we are 10 to 50 years, 10 to 50 years ahead with technology, but they trickle it out like this for two reasons: monetary gain or for military gain. Right? I mean, basically, they are withholding technologies from us that will advance our species, unite our species, and help us ascend better and change the world, but they're withholding them so they can trickle and nickel and dime us for money, or so the military can use it to spy on us, drop bombs, and manipulate the country and the world even more. All right. Everything I've said now, the industrial era, What they created enabled the 50s to happen. Then we had the TVs and all this stuff, and then we had this technology, and this technology sucked us in, made us want more, and the technology led us to create more, and now we're at a point where the technology is creating the technology. But all along, here we are. When I was a kid, before we had iPhones and all these things, we had to remember phone numbers, we had to remember mathematics, we had to remember all these things right here in our head. And as we grew older with calculators and beepers and pagers and cell phones and now handheld computers and all this stuff, people don't need to remember these things anymore because the technology is doing it for them. The technology is advancing. The technology is evolving. The technology is evolving. We're not. We're not. If we took everything away, we'd be lost. We'd be lost. People would be freaking out. I don't have my phone. I don't have my electricity. I don't have TV. I don't have this. I don't have my car. We'd freak out. The technology today is dictating the world tomorrow, just as the technology from the past led us to today. It's the technology that evolves. The technology dictates evolution because it is the technology that is evolving. Why? I've mentioned many times that our body, this ego, this concept of me, myself, I want, I need, is a vessel. This skin and bones, the organs inside, literally and in every single sense that I mean it, is no different than the car in my garage. It's just a different technology. It's organic. It's made out of the materials naturally from this ground, as opposed to the ones that we took out and we converted and we made into something. But it's a vessel for my, don't say conscious, my consciousness, my awareness, my energy, the light, the electricity in the wall, the vibrations that we feel, what binds together the molecules, what created the Big Bang, what is the Big Bang, what is outside of the Big Bang. Technology. The Big Bang is a click of the switch. We're just inside seeing it happen rather than being on the outside flipping the switch. But it is still a technology. Our energy, what we are, is a technology. And everything that we create, everything that we do, is for the advancement of this, for a reason. Why? Why? We create worlds. On these created worlds, we create the way to live naturally and freely. We create the vessels to walk and talk and connect and communicate. Our vessels learn and grow and create technology. The technology enables us to create more technology. It enables us to create technology that entertains us, amazes us, makes us curious. Technology we can sit down and play and get lost in, put on and experience different worlds. Technology that will evolve. AI, augmented reality, virtual reality. These are all words we're familiar with. But this is an augmented reality. It is only a version, a variation of an existence. It's not a virtual reality. It's not a simulation. It is an augmented reality. We will create more realities. And do what? Literally, let's honestly talk about this right now. Think about this. If we've got virtual reality and augmented reality and we're getting to these ways that we're understanding the human mind and mapping it out and recreating it, then I know at some point we will be able to replicate, copy our consciousness. So if we can take my consciousness, everything I know, everything I am, everything I've ever been in, and put it into something else, another vessel, it's just a vessel. That energy that awareness, me, is in there. So here, as our technology advances, it will get to a point where, as we've seen in science fiction movies, we can lay down and transfer our consciousness into new worlds, or we can create new worlds, and we can create within those created worlds, and we can live in the vessels within these worlds, and we can take that and advance inside these worlds, and we can advance on and create within the creations, and every single person can go on and create within the creation, because we are the technology. Our whole life we've been tricked into believing that the human experience, the vessel, is all there is, and we're here to work and pay taxes for church and state because God wants you to pay taxes and the government needs you to pay taxes so we can have more roads so you can work. And we've been tricked into believing that the reflection in the mirror is our whole purpose in life, when our whole purpose in life is to advance the technology, so the technology can free our vessels to experience this world with beauty, kindness, and impartial judgment for all, judging with kindness and sympathy and compassion, and experiencing this world with an open heart as we advance the technology and take that love, take these experiences, take what we've created here and create more and go on and experience more, because it's only an augmented reality. I'll explain that in a minute. The signals, the signs, the frequencies, the ringing in my ear, the clairvoyance that people have, the clairsentient abilities, that high-pitched sound, that vibration that we feel. That's the voice of God, the voice of the creative source of energy. It is the sound, the resonating frequency that our Creator, the field of energy that all exists within, it's the voice. But it's a technology. And I don't mean this to insult, because it should free you in more words, in more ways than you can imagine. This is all a created technology, one that we created. One that we created. And one that we will create again. We existed so long ago. There was a point in what we can call time, original creation, the original creation, the first awareness, that first energy that just came into existence, what it had to do, how it had to create, the world it had to create, the way it had to figure out a way to walk upon that world and create other beings and other life to be able to intermingle with and mate with and go on and create with and expand. It's just mind-blowing. But there was a point where creation was linear. When it first started, and it went on, but all things fade out over time. Energy doesn't die, it just dissipates so much. It grows out so much, it becomes so scarce and so far apart that to connect all the dots is impossible. And when that happened, we found a way to make a loop. We found a way to take every single thing that we had already known and experienced and recreate it again in a way that it would advance and enable us to experience it again and create more and create more and create more. We are, in every sense of the word, technology. We are experiencing this one specific reality in these organic vessels. We will create more worlds and more ways for us to ascend and transfer what we call consciousness, our awareness. But none of that means anything, and it's why the ascended masters and all speak of losing the ego, because it is truly just the energy within us, the light source. That's the true essence. And all of us create all of this inside that original field of energy. I create it, you create it, and we all create it. And it truly is just created one within one, within one, within one. This infinitesimal loop that never stops. To truly evolve is to let go of the physical form and embrace the spirit, the non-physical form you are. Let that be what is evolving, not your needs and your wants and your goals and your desires and your dreams. It's just all knowledge and information for us to take to create the next reality, our next existence. We just have to love. And I don't mean this in a corny way. When I say love, I just mean that patience, compassion for each other, room to expand. Every single one of us is an individual unit of creation. Every single one of us is an individual unit of creation. And right now we are all experiencing in this reality together. And we are all experiencing here at this stage, at this level, in this reality, to learn how to coexist, to how to manifest and how to create. So when we ascend to the next level, when we transfer our consciousness, when the technology allows us to ascend in that creative form, we do not create out of greed, hate, and selfishness. We create out of love, unity, kindness, and sympathy, because we are creating all within the one. We are all individual units of creation, and we are all within each other. When you can truly understand that and accept that as truth, it is incredibly freeing, and it's beautiful. It shows how we are connected in more ways than one can imagine. And it sheds so much light on the collective consciousness. I hope you understand what I'm saying tonight. I hope you don't get offended by the words technology. If you do get offended by those words, then reflect on that part of you that is getting offended and learn and become aware of where that comes from. Look into that and stare deep within that darkness and let that change and free you. It is the most amazing thing to understand and to have seen what we are. There are so many beautiful ways for us to connect and unite on truth. But there are so many things that we still need to let go of. I'm going to do the best I can. I'll see you Sunday, everybody. Have a great night. Thank you.